Parties have contributed in no small measure to the democracy that will operate this moment. That's what we'll be looking at, and I have a guest in the studio that will be helping me analyze this. He's one of our regular faces on air. He's also a political affairs analyst, and also he's also a public affairs commentator, and also a columnist with some newspapers in Nigeria. I have with me in the studio Mr. Bola Wale. Nice to have you on Top Point, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Yes, I've read out some of those political parties that were had earlier and now and what we're still doing. But there's something I think people would want to know. Are their ideologies the same, or do they have different ideologies? We're looking at what operated then and what is operating now.
No. You see, in the First Republic, we had political parties that were formed on ideological lines. But now we have political parties that are not formed on ideological lines. Like you mentioned, in the First Republic, we had the Action Group that was a welfareist party that was leaning maybe a little to the left. We had the NCNC that was centrist, that was at the center. And we had the Northern People's Congress that was conservative. And then we had other parties along the line like NEPO and all the others that were a little of this, a little of that. And up to the Second Republic, when we had Unity Party of Nigeria, when we had the SDP, we still had parties that were formed on ideological basis. The Unity Party was still welfareist, and some other parties still played romance with welfareism, centrism, and things like that. And we had the NPN that was core conservative. So, but now, all the parties that we have now are virtually all capitalist, right of the center political parties. Whether you call it PDP or you call it even the APC that mouths radicalism, that says that they are for change, a lot of people will tell you that there is no difference between the APC and PDP, there is no difference between APC and NDC, there is no difference between APC and ADC and all these other parties. And that is why you find that politicians find it very easy to move from one party to the other now, because they all operate along the same ideological spectrum. In the First Republic, it was not easy for you to move from AG to NPC to NCNC. It was not possible. It was not easy for you to move from NCNC, and the AG will immediately embrace you and begin to give you political offices. It wasn't that possible. In Second Republic, even it was not possible for you to move from MPN and move to Unity Party of Nigeria and become their flag bearer. But now we find that you can move from this party today, move to another party tomorrow, and you become their presidential flag bearer. You can move from there again and move to another party, and you still become their flag bearer. So today the parties are not ideologically based. There is no ideological leaning in all the political parties. That's why it is easy for politicians to move from one party to the other. And that's why some of us refer to the political parties as the different fingers of a leprous hand.
That takes us back to when one elder statesman mentioned that many years back. Yes. 5 leprosy hands.
Yes.
Okay, now from what you have observed so far, don't you think that these political parties are supposed to make use or strict adherence to their constitution? Because if somebody moves from one party now and gets to another party and gets the presidential ticket or gets a ticket to contest, are there no guidelines in that direction for them to just stay maybe 1 year, 6 months, or be financial members for a period of time before they get the ticket?
Yes, parties have constitutions, but how many of these politicians study the constitutions of these political parties? If you call a member of PDP or APC and ask questions about the manifesto or about the constitution of their party, a lot of people are ignorant of the constitution of their parties. It's like Christians who are ignorant of the Bible, or Muslims who can't recite anything in the Quran. Many of our politicians today don't know much about their constitution because it does not matter again. In times past, it mattered because parties set a lot of store on their constitution, on their manifestos. We had even ideological schools. In the time of Nkrumah, we have ideological schools. The ideological school that was teaching people ideology. Nigerians moved from here. The Awolowo some of the Babatokpe, they went to Winneba in Ghana to learn to attend Nkrumah's ideological school. But now there is nothing like that again. Politicians today just see parties as SPV.
Special purpose
vehicle. And one governor explained it clearly. The governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umo, he said, if you want to go to Abuja, if he wants to go to Abuja, he's from Akwa Ibom. He gets to Lagos to take a plane, and he wanted to go with Ibom here, which his state controls. And he gets there, Ibom here was not on ground. And he says earpiece or whatever, and he has an appointment to meet in Abuja. He said, whichever airline that can take him to Abuja, is the one. So that's what political parties are now. They just look at what platform can I use that is available, number one. What platform is popular in my area that can help me to actualize my political goal. That is what they think about now. And that is why they are running into problems. Because you go into a party without looking at their rules and regulations, without checking their constitution to see whether the party is even available to contest election. That is the problem that we have with this Federal High Court judgment that said INEC should deregister some parties. The law says that a party must win X number of political offices in a previous election or garner so percentage of votes in the election for it to continue to function as a political party. And now, if parties did not meet this threshold, they should be deregistered. And then some politicians went to that party without checking the constitution, without checking whether this party meets that threshold. They got there only to discover that it did not, and then they have problems. So you discover now that we don't have political parties that are political parties as defined by the theories of political parties. The political parties that we learn in the university are political science, that we learn in the university as the coming together of like minds for the purpose of contesting elections to win political office and implement their manifesto. We find that it doesn't happen again. What we have now are just strange bedfellows coming together just for the purpose of winning election and not to implement any manifesto, because many of them don't even have manifesto. If you ask them, they don't have manifesto.
But what do they read to the public? Because before they get into office, there's the manifesto day, there is a campaign and things like that. So what's, if you say they don't have ideology, they don't have some of these things, how do we now marry that with what they have on ground? Is it on paper alone, or do they find it difficult to implement such?
All the parties that we have now, all the people, for example, let's take those who are those who want to be presidential candidates. Can you tell me the policies that Atiku has been propagating all over the place? That this is what Atiku is saying that I will do when I become president. Nothing. They are just criticizing the government. Can you tell me what Obi is saying that this is what I will do? Is it free education? Is it full employment? Is it I will reduce the fuel price to 145? Is it that I will remove exchange rates? Is it, what are they telling us that they will do? What is the manifesto of the Labour Party? What is the manifesto of even Showore, who is the radical among them? What is it promising to do? You discover now that we cannot, even as educated as we are, as politically conscious as we are, as involved as we can't put our hands on what the parties are saying that they will do. Apart from the president that recently addressed us on Democracy Day, that set out a few things, what are the other APC people, what are they telling us that they will do? So you discover now that policies, programs, manifestos have been reduced to almost nothingness. They have been put back. Nobody is talking about manifestos. Even the people themselves, the voters themselves, are they interested in manifestos? I've been involved in elections where you give people manifestos and they will throw it back at you and say, oh, give us money, give us money. We don't want Irolepa, telling lies, so we will not implement anything. People themselves are not really enamored with manifestos, because they have seen that promises made by politicians are seldom fulfilled. So they don't believe in policies made. We saw what happened during the government administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, when he was told that you promised, he said no, he did not promise anything. And they brought out the manifesto of his party. They said, oh, it is my party that promised it. It is not me. Okay, we also saw what happened. The cause of the problem in PDP is they decided not to follow their party manifesto that says presidential something should rotate. Presidency should rotate between the north and the south. And they insisted, they threw it overboard and they said, no, it is just an advice. It is not mandatory. And that is what caused their problem. Now, so you discover that the politicians that we have at the moment, they don't set store by manifestos. They don't set store by policies. They rely on other means to win elections.
In a nutshell, you're saying that they go for only pecuniary gains and not things that can move the society forward. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you see, our politicians these days are not so much interested in what can move the society forward. They are not so much interested in what can develop the country. For instance, let me ask you, when was it? Because I'm also a journalist, I can ask you questions.
Yes, yes.
When was
You're
the
permitted.
Last, yes,
You're permitted.
When was the last time we have a national development plan? That, okay, in the next 5 years, this is what we want to achieve. We have thrown national development plans overboard. We don't even refer to national development. A government just comes in and does what it feels like doing, or does nothing. And for 4 years, and that's it. They ramble and ramble. We don't have plans. And they say he who fails to plan plans to fail. We don't in states now. Where is the development plan? Okay, in the next 10 years, this is where we want to reach. This is what we want, so that a new government that is coming keys into it. There is continuity. There is nothing like that.
But I can tell you that Lagos is doing that.
Well, to some extent, but not. So a lot of people won't agree with you, but some will agree with you that they have a plan which they are following, but other people will tell you that they don't have. You see, it depends on who is making the argument. But by and large, you discover that our politics now is bereft of ideas. Our politics now is bereft of plans and purposes. It is just whimsical. It is just musical armchair. It is just whatever whims and caprices of those who are there. I have worked with some of these people. You tell them, they say, sir, this is what I want to do. When you become governor, go and do your own. You see? And you tell people, look, this project that your predecessor started, why don't you complete? Say, if I complete it, who will they start? Who will the history say that that's the project? I will start my own project. They continue to start their own project. So you have abandoned projects all over the place. And you have projects that don't even have meaning all over the place. They don't ask the people, what do you need? There was a governor that wanted, in this same Ekiti, that wanted a second term. And he invited me to come and watch his campaign. And we went. And I told him, I said, sir, you are going to lose the election. He said, why? He said, because people say that you came from Lagos and gave us what you want, not what we need. most of the time, that's what our leaders do. It is their own ideas, their own orientation. Planning is from top down. The civil servants sit in their offices and they plan development plans. They don't go to the people to ask them, what do you need? What are your priorities? Is it water? Is it roads? Is it schools? What is it that you need? And I think that is what we are supposed to be doing. Development ought to move from bottom up. We ought to ask the people, what are your, maybe in a community, go there and ask them, list your 10 priorities.
Okay. And
then, if we do that all over, then we can now begin to pick and say that, okay, the priority of this location is education. Okay, we have to give, or they don't even have maternity center. Their pregnant women have to walk 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers before they can get the medical attention, and people are dying because of that. So, but when you sit in your cozy offices and you are the one that is determining the projects that will go to this, the projects that will go to that, that is, if at all you even decide to give them projects, then you cannot carry the people along and you cannot serve the needs of the people. Our programs are elitist. Our governments are elitist. They are the government of the elite, by the elite, and for the elite. And that is not democracy. The government says government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
But the government say they put up social intervention programs that would help the masses. How far has that gone?
Who determines the social intervention program? Is it the people that tell you this is what we want? Is it not the senators, the House of Representatives that sit in Abuja and say they have constituency project? Can't you see governors who are distributing pants as constituency projects? Pants. Can't you see governors who are distributing jerry cans, empty jerry cans? Is that what the people need? Did they ask the people? Can't you see all these so-called boreholes that they will say they are sinking boreholes? They will put overhead tank. They will go and use a water tanker to pour water on the overhead tank.
Do you think that still exists? Because it used to exist before now. Does it still exist?
I saw it live and direct.
When was that?
In the place in Ekiti.
What year was that?
Some years back, during the governorship of Engineer Shegwoni.
Okay. When
all the SDG programs, all the taps were dry. I drove in through Itawure to from Aramoko up to Ado Ekiti. Not a single. I was stopping, trying to turn the taps and no water.
Have you gone back there in the last 1 or 2 years to know?
It's the same It's the same thing. You hardly find water anywhere. Do you have a public tap water even in Lagos?
Then how come
do we have public tap water in my state, Ondo State? When I was growing up, there was tap water. The 2 houses from my own house. So where do we have tap waters now? And can't you see the garbage that is everywhere in Lagos? Fortunately, the governor has directed now that they should do something about the garbage. Should it be so? So what are the people enjoying from democracy?
Okay. Yes, as we round up now, because time is not on our side, a parting shot. The Independent National Electoral Commission has countered what Justice Lifu said, that yes, it's maybe because he doesn't want to create tension and stuff. Now, these political parties are still free and liable, they're legible rather, and legal rather, to go for elections.
Yes, but don't be too sure that we are not going to go back to square one, because the case will still get to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will interpret the law as it is. So it is not yet uhuru for those political parties. They cannot sing yet. Just like the people who were rejoicing when the High Court gave the judgment should not have rejoiced. They rejoiced too early. We can also say that the opposition parties that are rejoicing now because the appeal court has said don't. But the appeal court did not say that they are right. The appeal court did not say that they are legal. The appeal court did not say that there is no law that affects them. The appeal court is just saying that because they have appealed and because the case is still pending, you cannot deregister them. It does not mean that they cannot be deregistered in the final analysis. Okay,
we'll see how that pans, and we'll still watch. We'll cross our fingers and watch how things go on in Nigeria. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Bola Bolawole, for being part of Talk Point.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112 still remain the lines to call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure that you also contribute your own quota to the development of Nigeria. I am Omololu Sonwo, saying bye for now.